students. Today we will deal with the chapter number 5, The Summit Within. Okay? It was written by H.P.S. Ahluwalia. Okay, Ahluwalia was the first member from India to go for Mount Everest expedition in 1965. So before you read, let's read it. Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia was a member of the first successful Indian expedition to Mount Everest in 1965. How did he feel when he stood on the highest point in the world? Let us hear his story in his words. Climbing the summit and then the more difficult task of climbing the summit within. Starting, of all the emotions which surged through me as I stood on the summit of the Everest, looking over miles of panorama below us, the dominant one, I think, was humility. The physical in me seemed to say, "Thank God, it's all over." However, instead of being jubilant, there was a tinge of sadness. Was it because I had already done the ultimate in climbing and there would be nothing higher to climb and all roads hereafter would lead down? Like climbing the summit of Everest, you are overwhelmed by a deep sense of joy and thankfulness. It is a joy which lasts a lifetime. The experience changes you completely. The man who has been to the mountains is never the same again. As I look back at life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit, the summit of the mind, no less formidable and no easier to climb. Even when getting down from the summit, once the physical exhaustion has gone down, I began asking myself the question why I had climbed Everest. Why did the act of reaching the summit have such a hold on my imagination? It was already a thing of the past, something done yesterday. With every passing day, it would become more remote, and then what would remain? Would my memories fade slowly away? All these thoughts led me to the question myself as to why people climb mountains. It is not easy to answer the question. The simplest answer would be, as others have said, because it is there. It presents great difficulties. Man takes delight in overcoming obstacles. The obstacles in climbing a mountains are physical. A climb to a summit means endurance, persistence, and willpower. The demonstration of these physical qualities is no doubt exhilarating as it was for me always. For me also. So, this text was written by H.P.S. Ahluwalia. H.P.S. Ahluwalia was the first member from India to go for Mount Everest expedition in 1965. He went with the team. The feeling of standing on the top of the Mount Everest, the highest point, was something very different for Ahluwalia, and so he narrated this chapter, The Summit Within. Summit means the top of any height. So H.P.S. Ahluwalia's emotion all came up as he kept his foot on the top of the Mount Everest. From that point, he could see the panoramic view of the wide mountains around him. He could see the birds from the bird's eye view that he is at the top of the Himalaya, top of the Mount Everest, or at the Mount Everest, and he is looking down to the wide view of the nature. Okay. At that time, he felt that he was such a small creature in this world. There are other many beautiful and big creations of nature. The dominant emotion was therefore humility. All things are so big in nature, and he himself was such a small creature in this world. Ahluwalia at the same time thanked God that climbing over, but instead of happiness, he thanked God that climbing was over. He reached, but instead of happiness, he had slight sadness. Okay, for happiness for his success there should be, or jubilant, he had little sadness. All the emotions were evolving, all the emotions were puzzled. He thought, he is sad because there is no other heights that he can climb in future. There is no other highest peak to reach other than Mount Everest. So this joy of rising to the peak will last lifetime, he said. Means his emotions actually got mixed up. The experience will change the person completely, he said. Now, this expedition of going to the Mount Everest, coming back by surviving, will completely change a person as it has changed Ahluwalia. The man that has visited to the mountains will be overwhelmed and will evolve and will not be the same person all the time. Okay, as Ahluwalia was climbing the Mount Everest, he could help to think about the other summit or the top. Okay, he could not think of other summit he could actually reach. The summit or the top of the mind or the heights of the mind could not be easily understood. Here he is talking about the puzzle in his mind, the heights in his mind. Okay. So, as I look back at the life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about other summit. Other summit means the summit that he has in his mind. That is no less formidable and no easier to climb. It's not easier to understand and it's not easier to climb or to solve the complexities of the what? Mind's summit or mind's top. So basically, now moving on to the next paragraph. So Ahluwalia, while coming down to the summit, the physical tiredness came to him. He felt less fatigue. As you walk towards the hilltop, you will find it more difficult because you have to put more pressure and you have to take the weight of your body to the upside. Okay? But while coming down, it automatically your legs goes down. As you can see that from the top you can slide down, but from the downside if you have to climb up, you take more time and more energy. So while coming down, he got less tiredness. Okay. So Ahluwalia, while coming down to the summit, the physical tiredness came down. He felt less fatigue. Ahluwalia's life got impacted by walking to the summit, and it had remained in his imagination. And with the passing of time, the days of climbing the mountains is fading away. And Ahluwalia is questioning that will his memory fade away with the passing of time? If the expedition that he has done fades away in this gradual manner, then one day this memory of reaching to the Mount Everest will fade away. He is questioning to himself. Okay? So this whole thinking has made him question that if the expedition has been forgotten slowly and gradually, then why people go for expedition? He questions that why to go for expedition if one has to forget? The simplest reply is that people give replies like that Mount Everest exists, therefore people go for expedition to Mount Everest. Climbing the Mount Everest is a matter of, now the qualities will be described. That climbing the Mount Everest is a matter of patience, endurance, physical ability, power, patience. All these qualities are required. Here the qualities are given as you can see in the second paragraph of the page number 77. See, the obstacles in climbing mountains are physical qualities you require. A climb to a summit means endurance, persistence and willpower. The demonstration of these physical qualities is no doubt exhilarating as it was for me also. So the physical qualities that he is describing that are required to climb the summit or the top is exciting, thrilling, and still while telling that Ahluwalia feels that thrilling effect. Okay, so yet the expedition has not started. In the next coming days or videos, the expedition, we will learn what were the different difficulties that he has faced in his way. But till today's video, we have learned what? The summit, reaching the summit gave him the mixed emotions, and he could realize that how small creature he was in this universe or in this world. Okay, after reaching the Mount Everest, and the qualities of climbing the Mount Everest is given. These are few of the qualities that a person requires to go to the Mount Everest. So with this I come to the end of today's video. Thank you.